Hey everyone, my name is Jenny Man. I am a solutions architect and developer advocate. Today I'm going to show you how to add a chatbot to your website in an easy and cost-effective way. This will be part of a series where I go over various tools and platforms that you can use to build chatbots and conversational AI. Let me show you some of the other things that we're going to go over, not in this video today, but in the rest of the series. We will talk about Google Dialogflow, uh, Amazon Lex, Amazon Connect, UiPath Druid chatbot, and Twilio IVR, and others as well. And as time goes by, I will add to the list. So be sure to check out the series if you want to learn how to build chatbots or if you're evaluating which chatbot platform is best for your needs. Remember to subscribe to this channel. We're going to start with Zendesk today because Zendesk is one of the easiest to get started with. As you will see, it's pretty much pre-built for you out of the box. You just need to make some tweaks to customize it if you want. Also, I've looked at several chatbot tools and platforms, and Zendesk is at a very reasonable price point considering what it offers. And you also get additional support features like ticketing, so it's definitely, with the ease of use and pricing, it's definitely a good place to start. However, there's one caveat with Zendesk, which is with the cheapest basic plan team, there are several limitations and constraints, but you're in luck today because I'm actually going to show you some tricks to get around those limitations legally, so that you can get the best bang for your buck. And also, this video, for the most part, is a live tutorial, not a scripted one. I hope you enjoy it. If you have any thoughts or questions about chatbots, feel free to ask in the comments and I will try to respond. And just one more note about Zendesk is that very recently, I think this month, they did a migration where they merged Zendesk support and chat and some of their other services and pages in some way. So I found that many of the docs online are actually out of date in terms of which pages to navigate to find things and to build stuff. But this video is the most up to date. It was just recorded today, so you should be able to follow along on all of the steps that we're about to go over. So let's get started. Let's first talk about what we're going to build today. The requirements. We are going to build a simple chatbot that you can easily put on your existing website. And right off the bat, as a user comes on your site and starts a chat, we're going to give a couple of options, um, and they will be connected to a human agent only if those options have not addressed the visitor's needs. Because part of it is we also want the chatbot to alleviate human agents' bandwidth, right? So we're not going to be connecting to the human in every chat, only if it's needed. And then number three, if the visitor types something to the chatbot that the chatbot doesn't understand, then they will be connected to a human agent right away. Like instead of asking them to repeat or telling them, "Oh, I'm sorry, we don't understand," which sometimes is kind of annoying. We're just going to connect them to a human if the visitor types something that the chatbot doesn't understand. And then number four, we're going to collect the visitor's question before connecting them to a human. The reason why I think it would be good to do that is because some of the chatbots that I've seen or worked with in the past, like sometimes you just get a hi from the user. Like somebody comes on your website, they say hi, expecting to start chatting with someone. So then when the agent receives the request from the visitor, it's just a hi. So they're not prepared to answer a question. They don't know what question that visitor is coming with. So I think it's good to first collect the visitor's question before connecting them to a human agent. And then also set expectation with visitor that there may be an X-minute wait. A lot of times people come on site and chat with chatbots, they expect to get a response right away. Really, on average, they just wait maybe 2 minutes before they would drop off and go away. So, but you want to let the visitor know that they should expect a wait. So it would be good to, in the messaging, to um, tell the visitor that do we typically respond in under 10 minutes, for example, so that they won't leave right away if they don't hear back in 2 minutes. So we want to set a 10 minutes wait. or X minute wait. And then number 6, let the visitor know they'll be connected to a human um, only if a human is available. So what this means is we won't tell the visitor that we're connecting them to a human unless there is a human agent that is online, available, and is within business hours. So if somebody reaches out outside business hours where nobody's available, then we won't set the expectation with the visitor that we'll be connecting them to a human. And then number 7, if a human agent is not available live, collect the visitor's email for later follow-up as well as notification to visitor when an agent becomes available. The reason why we're setting this as a requirement is actually an improvement to an earlier version of a chatbot that I worked on. Previously, we would ask for the visitor's email, and a lot of times it just scares them away. Like if you go on site and engage with the chatbot and the first thing they ask you is your email, maybe you're more reluctant to start a chat because you don't want to give that information away. So for this chatbot, it's just going to ask for the visitor's name. Only if there's nobody available to pick up the chat, if all agents are busy, then the chatbot will collect the email from the visitor so that we can follow up with the visitor and also notify the visitor if when an agent becomes available to respond. And then lastly, if an offline human agent becomes available or online to help the visitor at any point during the flow of the chatbot, the agent can interrupt the chatbot and pick up the chat right away. Let's say the chatbot is giving some automated responses, engaging with the visitor, but all of a sudden, a human agent that was offline became online, then they can interrupt right away and pick up the chat. So this is what the chatbot that we're going to build today is going to be able to do. And then we will go to test cases later. Okay, so for this tutorial, I created a very simple sample website. It just says, hello world, this is our simple web page. It's got 2 pages, this home page and then the FAQ page, which has got a couple of FAQ questions and you can go back to the homepage. So we're going to add our chatbot to this site. So let's say you have your website, you would just add your chatbot to your homepage, add the snippet that we will get from Zendesk, just copy that and paste it into your HTML file for your website, and then this chatbot will show up here. Now let's go to Zendesk. To follow along, you can sign up for a 14-day free trial on the Zendesk website. Assuming you've already done that or have a Zendesk account, we're going to navigate to the Admin Center here. Click this icon on the top right of your screen with the 4 boxes, Admin Center. Now, there are 2 ways to set up a chatbot easily with Zendesk. One is through messaging. The second is through bots. For the first way, you would go to Channels on the left menu. Under Messaging and Social, click Messaging. By default, there's already a channel here for Web Widget, but you can also add channels by clicking Add Channel here and selecting the type of channel you want to add. Now let's click on our channel on here. Once we're in, there's a preview panel on the right that you can use to test your changes as you make them. Under Style, you can change the position, spacing, colors, and other things to adjust the look and feel of your chatbot. We will just stick with the defaults. Responses. This is where you can set a simple flow for how you want the chatbot to interact with your visitors. By default, your chatbot is always active or online, but you can also click Manage Schedules here so that you can set a custom flow for during business hours and one for outside of business hours. The caveat is the feature to manage schedules is not available on the basic paid plan. The only reason I have it here is because I'm still within that 14-day free trial. You need to have at least a growth plan or up. So that's a bummer. But I figured out a way to achieve this on the basic plan, the team plan, by using chat triggers, which I will show you shortly. Let's go through the rest of the tabs. Authentication. By default, remember history is checked. This means if a visitor comes to your site, starts a chat, leaves and comes back, the chat will pick up from where they left off, rather than starting over as if they're a new visitor. Today, we will change to forget history so that we can test our bot a little bit better. Finally, installation. This is what I was referring to earlier. When you're done customizing, you can just copy the snippet and paste it into the HTML file of your site, and I'll show you that later. So the messaging settings are pretty straightforward, but then if you use this method, your chatbot would also be pretty basic, not very intelligent. So today we're going to focus on the second method, which allows for much more personalized support. Under bots and automation here, let's click bots, manage bots. Click on create bot. Let's give our chatbot a name, demo bot. When building a chatbot, there are a couple of fundamental concepts you have to understand. One is you need to train your bot to understand a visitor's intent. The terminology and methodology differ from platform to platform. In Zendesk, you do this by setting some answers. And then for each answer, you would set some training phrases so that all those phrases and similar phrases will lead to the answer you want. For example, if a visitor's intent is to talk to a human, what would they say to a chatbot? They may say, speak to an agent, real person, connect me to a team member. So Zendesk already added these phrases for you by default, but you can also add a few more training phrases as you see fit. For example, let's add representative, talk to someone, hello. Here's a trick. Let's add these training phrases as well. Are you here? Still here? Any update? That way, if the chat window becomes inactive for a while, maybe the visitor wants to re-engage and ask you if you're still here, then the bot can get to this flow on the left. Now let's dissect this flow a little bit here. Whenever a visitor types one of these training phrases or something similar, it doesn't have to be exact, then the chatbot will respond, no problem, just share a few details and I'll connect you with someone from our team. If you remember, one of our requirements is to set expectation with the visitor on how long the wait will be. So let's customize this message a bit and say, we typically reply in under 10 minutes. What's your name? Then it's going to ask for the details. Right now, it's going to ask for name and email. For our chatbot, let's remove email. We'll ask for the email at a later time because we don't want to scare the visitor away right off the bat by asking for something so personal. And then the last part of this pre-built flow is, let me connect you with a customer support agent. And this transfer activity with this orange icon here will actually connect the visitor to Zendesk support where a human agent from your team can pick up the chat and continue the conversation. Here's another trick. You can make this look more human and less like a robot by addressing the visitor's name. Now that you have it, what you can do is click this plus sign here, and then you can select this name variable. Now you can call the visitor by name to make it more personal. So let's say, hi name. While we check our human's availability, what question do you have? Let's click done to save it. Now, by default, the talk to a human answer has the status of ready to publish. So if you publish this bot, then your chatbot will have the capability of connecting your visitor to a human. There are a couple other inactive examples here, like order didn't arrive or reset password, which are both common uses of a chatbot. Today, we're going to add a couple more answers just to demonstrate how to add one from scratch. Let's say we want our chatbot to answer a visitor who wants a demo. Let's click on Create Answer. Let's make the answer name Book Demo. Now let's add some training phrases. What about I want a demo, show me a demo, where to see demo, watch demo, booked quick demo. Okay, that's good enough for now. Now we're taken to a flow. Click Add Step, and there are a few options. Let's pick Send Message. This is going to be the first message your bot will send to your visitor as soon as someone asks for a demo. So we'll say, email us to book a demo, info@learntech.com. Just making this up. I'm also going to give them an option to book time with me using my calendar link. I want to show you this button functionality here. You can click Add Button. Now you can link this button to any web page URL. For this example, I'll give them my calendar URL where they can book a meeting with me. Next, let's check with your visitor to see if this response is helpful. Let's add another step. Select Ask If Question Resolved. If they say yes, then by default, the chatbot will say, great, knowledge is power. But of course, you can customize this messaging if you want. If they say no, let's connect them to a human agent. So we'll remove this message box here, right-click, delete this step, add step, and select transfer to agent. For the bot message, let's put, while we check our human's availability, what question do you have? Because remember, one of our requirements is to get the visitor's question before connecting them to a human. Now we're done with this flow. Let's add one more. Let's have a quick break. Have you ever had a feeling that ads are reading your mind? It's because advertisers are constantly invading your cyberspace, looking through your internet history and getting hold of your most intimate data. Now you can get your privacy back with Surfshark VPN. It blocks invasive targeted ads and shields you from web trackers that gather your data. Additionally, it protects you from viruses, keeping you safe, and prevents your identity from getting stolen. But in my opinion, the best benefit is you can connect to other countries' networks to watch shows that you wouldn't otherwise have access to. You can also sign up for Netflix in a country with lower subscription fees, and that easily makes Surfshark pay for itself. For work, I actually had to use VPN once to overcome some restrictions in order to complete a work project. And regardless of how many devices you have, you just need one account to give all those devices access. And Surfshark is one of the cheapest out there. It's running a limited time promotion right now. If you use the link in the description box below, you'll receive an exclusive discount plus your first couple months free. And there's a money back guarantee if you're not happy for any reason. So give it a try, and now let's get back to our learning. Let's do one for FAQ. Training phrases could be, I have a question. Do you have an FAQ page? I've got some questions. Okay, that's good for now. For the flow, let's add a step. Pick Send Message. Let's make our message this time, have you checked our FAQ page? Again, we'll use the button functionality here, so click Add Button. Now you can link this button to your FAQ page. Since my demo website is hosted locally on my laptop, I just uploaded my FAQ page to Wix to more easily show you this functionality. So again, let's add the Ask If Question Resolved tree. If not resolved, let's transfer them to an agent. While we check our human's availability, what question do you have? Done. Okay, that's good enough for now. Before we publish our bot, just one more thing. Go to the Standard Responses tab here. Now we've set our answers. Taking a step back, before your visitor gets to any of those answers and the flow is attached to those answers, the chatbot has to first greet them and start the conversation. This is where you can set your initial greeting message. We'll just stick with the default one. Starting answers is where you want to add the additional answers that we've just created. So let's add book demo and FAQ. So then the chatbot will give these options to your visitor at the very beginning, and they can either select one of these options or type something free form. Either way, they'll either land on one of the flows you've built or they'll type something that's so far away from anything you had imagined. So then your chatbot wouldn't understand it. And this is where the fallback settings come in. By default, the chatbot will say, I didn't get that. Try rephrasing your question or try one of these answers. And then you can set additional answers for fallback. But that's kind of annoying. If you're the user, you type something the bot doesn't understand and then asks you to rephrase. So instead, we're going to connect them to a human agent right away if the bot cannot understand them. So let's replace this with connecting you to a human. Since this is the only option we want, we can just leave the answers here as is. Now let's click Publish Bot. Now that our bot is published, let's test it out real quick before we continue with the nuances. Click on Test Bot. See, we can select one of these, or I'll just type, I want to talk to someone. It'll ask me to share my name, just like how we've set it. Now you'll address me by name and connect me to an agent. Now, I said I would show you how to set operating hours for your bot, even if you're not on the higher paid plans. How you do that is navigate to Object and Rules. Under Business Rules, select Chat Triggers. Click Create a Trigger. Now, on the cheapest Zendesk plan, you're allowed 2 triggers, which is enough for our needs. There are 3 pre-built ones here. You can enable at most 2 of them. We'll just use 1 for now. Let's pick the third one, Request Contact Details. What this does is when your account is set to away, ask customers requesting a chat to leave their email address. Now, this is where you can customize the conditions. For example, you can change account status here to hour of day, day of week, and set operating hours that way. You can also pick from many of these other conditions here. For our requirements, let's add one more condition. When account status equals offline, so either the agent is away or offline, the chatbot will take an email from the visitor. Okay, a couple more things you want to change on the screen. One is when to run the trigger. So let's run the trigger when a chat message is sent. And then we've set 2 conditions, but we want the trigger to run when either of these conditions is true, not both, because you can't be away and offline at the same time. So if the agent is away or offline, then the trigger will run. So let's change this to check any of the following conditions. Now, under perform the following actions, right now it's just sending this message to the visitor. Hi, sorry, we're away at the moment. Please leave your email address and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. We actually have to collect the email address after we ask for it, so let's add an action. In the dropdown, select Request Email. Now remember to enable your trigger at the top. Save changes. Now our chat trigger is active, and that's the last piece of our chatbot setup on the Zendesk side. Now to actually put this chatbot we've built onto our website, we need to grab the code snippet from the messaging installation page. So let's go back to messaging. Now on the responses tab, you can see it's now connected to our demo bot. Go to the installation tab, copy the snippet. Now let's go to our HTML file of our homepage and place it in the body section here. That's it. Now it's time to test our chatbot thoroughly. Now I've prepared 6 test cases for us. Let's walk through them. We'll check the FAQ option, check the book demo option, check the connect to human option when human agent is online and when human agent is offline, and check when offline agent becomes online. And lastly, check if the bot cannot understand the visitor, will the bot connect them to a human properly? So let's start with the first one. Pulling up our sample website where we can see our chatbot on here. First test case is FAQ. We get the FAQ page button that we have set. Clicking it takes us to our FAQ web page. It's loaded. Now if we say problem solved, this part of the chat is all working. Now let's test book demo. The bot presents us with the right response and gives us the option to book a meeting. Now if I say, no, I still need help, then it's going to connect me to a human. So before I do that, let's go to Zendesk support as an agent. And let's make sure my agent account status is set to online. Now as a visitor, I'm going to click no, I still need help. Now it's going to prompt me for my question before connecting me. So let's just say, do you support SQL Server database, whatever. Now as the agent, I can pull up the chat and respond. So let's go there. Yes, we support it. Now if we go back to the chat, we can see the agent's response in the chat window. Now let's try the test case where the agent is away. Let's reload a new chat. I would like to talk to someone. My name is John. Let's try a different question this time. Do you support a rocket to Mars? Since the agent is away, the chatbot is asking the visitor to leave an email address. Now let's go back to being an agent and change our status from away to online. We can now pick up the chat. Sorry, we don't have a rocket to Mars. And the message has entered the chat window. Now, last test case, what if the visitor enters something the bot doesn't understand at all, like I'm from Mars? Then the chatbot connects the visitor to a human right away. So there you go. We now have a working chatbot. Now, if Zendesk is not a good fit for you, I will be going over additional chatbot platforms in the next few videos in the chatbot series. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the next video coming out. And if you've learned something new from this video, you're welcome to buy me a coffee through the link here. It's a lot of work to put together videos like this, so thank you for your support. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to this channel for upcoming content on how to start or build a career in tech, how to automate using low-code RPA, how to build real-time low-code data pipelines, and other tech content.